From meetinghouses to marketplaces, the dual identity of colonial Boston, Boston's colonial story, is one of remarkable duality. A city founded on uncompromising Puritan ideals that within a generation became a bustling commercial port. This balance between spiritual rigor and booming commerce was not accidental. It was the product of conscious choices, theological imperatives, and pragmatic adaptations. Below is a comprehensive analysis of how Boston navigated this tension. The role of Puritan theology in shaping its urban and civic life, and the enduring impact of John Winthrop's City Upon a Hill sermon as both a warning and a legacy. 1. The Puritan Blueprint. Theology as the foundation. Covenant theology and the City Upon a Hill. Boston's founders, led by John Winthrop, were driven by a vision of a city upon a hill, a community that would serve as a model of Christian virtue for the world. Winthrop's 1630 sermon, a model of Christian charity, was not a boast but a warning. The eyes of all people were upon them, and failure would bring public shame and divine wrath. Covenant with God. The Puritans believed they were bound by a collective contract with God. Their success or failure would be a public testament to their faithfulness, or lack thereof. Spiritual rigor. This covenant demanded strict adherence to biblical law, mutual accountability, and a communal ethos that subordinated individual interests to the common good. Theological principles in practice. Workers' worship. The Puritan work ethic held that all labor, if done faithfully, glorified God. This encouraged industriousness, but also placed moral limits on the pursuit of wealth. Suspicion of excess. While hard work and prosperity were signs of God's favor, ostentatious wealth and luxury were viewed with suspicion, as they could distract from spiritual priorities too. City planning. Faith in the urban fabric, organic layout and centrality of the meet. No grand grid. Boston's early street plan followed the contours of the Shawmut Peninsula, resulting in winding streets and irregular plots. This organic development reflected both practical needs and the Puritan focus on community over individualism. Meetinghouse at the center. The meetinghouse was the heart of every neighborhood, serving as both church and town hall. Its central location and plain architecture symbolized the primacy of faith and communal decision-making. Boston Common. Established in 1634 as a shared space for grazing, militia drills, and gatherings, the Common embodied the Puritan value of communal stewardship. Architecture reflecting values, simplicity and utility. Meetinghouses and homes were plain, functional, and devoid of ornamentation, reflecting the Puritan suspicion of vanity and focus on inner spiritual life. Shared spaces. Early meetinghouses often doubled as venues for town meetings and, at times, commercial transactions, blurring the line between sacred and secular. 3. Governance. Theocracy meets pragmatism. The general court and town meetings, church-state union, only male church members could vote or hold office, ensuring that civic power was closely tied to religious conformity. Participatory governance. Town meetings allowed eligible men to participate in local decisions, reflecting the Puritan ideal of covenant and mutual obligation. Law and social order. Legal codes. The Massachusetts Body of Liberties 1641 blended biblical principles with English common law, regulating not just crime but also moral behavior, church attendance, and even dress. Social surveillance. The community was responsible for monitoring and correcting the behavior of its members, with the belief that one person's sin could endanger all. 4. Commerce, booming trade and the merchant class. Harbor and necessity. Boston's poor soil pushed settlers toward maritime commerce. By the 1640s, fishing, shipbuilding, and trading were central to the economy. Transatlantic trade. Boston's merchants established extensive trade networks, exporting fish, timber, and provisions, and importing goods from Europe and the Caribbean. The merchant class and social mobility. Rise of merchants. Figures like John Hull and Peter Faneuil exemplified the new merchant elite, who balanced religious piety with commercial ambition. Integration of faith and profit. Many merchants saw no contradiction between piety and profit, using their wealth to support religious and civic projects. 5. Tension and accommodation. Navigating dual priorities, tensions, work ethic versus wealth. The Puritan ethic encouraged hard work but warned against the dangers of excessive wealth and luxury. Religious leaders' concerns. As commerce flourished, some Puritan leaders worried about declining religious observance and the corrupting influence of stricter laws. In response, church and civic leaders enacted stricter laws to enforce religious and moral discipline accommodations. Education and commerce. The Puritan emphasis on literacy and education supported the development of a skilled workforce and facilitated commercial, record-keeping, charity, and mutual aid. The wealthy were expected to support the poor, blending spiritual and material concerns. Civic and commercial overlap. Public spaces like Boston Common and Faneuil Hall served both religious, civic, and commercial functions.